right, welcome in everyone to week 2 of the college football season, Paid for Play, season 2, episode 3. We'd like to have a short moment of silence. Clearly, Vegas got the best of Rex. It's not looking good for the boy. He's supposed to be up bright and early like JD is every week, but I guess Vegas is a different animal than just being at home with the family, right, JD?
Yeah. Father and a child's nothing compared to being in Vegas. I can't do Vegas anymore. I'm tapped out. I'm not even 30 years old yet, and I'm tapped out from Vegas for the most part. So
that's just I haven't been to Vegas personally, so I still need to make it so I can eventually cross it off my list because I think I'm at the time of my life where it's going to be one and done for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How have you not been to Vegas before?
I just none of my buddies have really gotten married, so we haven't done the bachelor party, and so I'm sure it's going to come. And I would love for my first trip out there to be that USC LSU game. That's going to be in Vegas in 2 years. So that'd be the ideal first trip. But Roddy, how we doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. A little rainy here. Hoping for a Georgia State win today. I know we usually talk about the Bulldogs, but Georgia State at home to North Carolina, baby. I don't know. We might do something tonight. I don't know. Never know. But I'm chilling, man. Back home, I don't feel like I need to wear sunglasses in my home because, like I said, that Vegas, like you were saying earlier, it's like Kobe said, the same animal but a different beast. So yeah, it's crazy.
Goose, how we feeling this morning? I know you gotta balance in a little bit, but glad we were able to get you on here.
Yeah, I came game one. I got some inside intel for game one, so I had to stay. Then I'm going golfing. But quick hot take: Atlantic City better than Vegas. Vegas is overwhelming for me. Your boy can't hang. At least in Atlantic City, I can hang. I can hit the clubs. I can hit the books all in one night and not die.
Come on, Goose. You got to go all the way, man. You got to go outside
Jersey
at 7:30 at night when it's 105 degrees still, and you just got to feel it. That's that Vegas feeling, baby.
Jersey boardwalk. Toes in the sand after you do some weird stuff.
You put your toes in the sand in Vegas, I'm pretty sure. I've never been there, but I'm pretty sure there's sand everywhere.
There's damn sure not no grass. I can tell you that, my boy.
All burned up, man. All right, well, we'll get right into it then since we got a man with an inside scoop for us here. Big noon kickoff, best game of the day probably, or not the actual best game, but the most notable game of the day, Alabama at Texas. Line jumped up to 21.5 this morning, over-under sitting at 64.5. Goose, lead us off, man. What do you got?
Yeah, so, I got my cousin on the grounds today. He's at college game day right now, chilling. He's not a Texas fan. He just moved to Austin, though. It's the new hub going on. It's the new tech hub. And he says he sees a lot of Bama fans. And he sees a lot of excited Bama fans. These Texas boys, they're not too confident. They might speak a confident game on Twitter. You get them in person, they know what the deal is. So let me tell you something about this game, though. If everyone here probably plays Madden, we're all football fans. In Madden, you're down by 21, you get skunked. You got to pass the sticks. Game over. College, the game don't end until it's over. We need some style points. We need a new term because beating a team by 21 isn't that big of a deal in college. 21 times 2, 42. Skunk meet armadillo. Alabama armadillos Texas tonight. They beat them today. They beat them by 42. Alabama dances on their graves, horns down. Bryce Young, Mr. NIL, Heisman campaign gets launched today. Armadillo, they ask.
It's a big prediction. You got the 40 minus 41.5 alternate spread.
I'm about to get it right now. I'm gonna get it right now.
Dude, I can see it. I mean,
you're going
LSU got a good amount of fans there whenever they played there a couple of years ago, and I mean they'll probably do what they did to the LSU fans and stick them in the upper deck right in the sun. So those Alabama fans are baking during kickoff. But I mean, I don't see any disagreement really. I'm all over Alabama. Roddy, where you at here? No. JD, go ahead. Roddy's looks like he's having some technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Matrix.
All right. I'm not really going to have a disagreement. I think Texas has a good enough offense. They could kind of backdoor this one, I guess is how I'm looking at it. I think they're just their offensive line is not good enough. So they have some really good skill talent guys, but I'm not really sure they're going to be able to show that here because their offensive line is going to just get eaten alive by Will Anderson and company. So I do like Bama. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a big day. Jermaine Burton. They're going to show out. This is a dangerous team. We all know it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to make it to the window with Bama. I think I'd be more confident in Texas if Isaiah Nair didn't go down with injury. He was a great wide receiver. I think he was going to go for like 1,000 yards. So with those two guys on the field, I know Alabama's great, but like nobody can cover those two. But now it's just Worthy. I mean, it's a little too easy to focus on. So definitely no argument for me.
Yeah, I think Alabama's secondary is going to be way too prevalent, especially with you only having really Xavier Worthy out there. I do like, I think Quinn Ewers will be a good college quarterback in the long run, probably a pretty good NFL quarterback as well, but he's never played anyone like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner in the secondary. And to be exposed to that in like your second college start is just not really fair. But Alabama first half is obviously just a bet that I'm going to lock in every week. It's the most profitable bet in all of college football. And I got Alabama minus 20.5 also. So I got it before it jumped over 21. I think it stays outside of 21. Texas might get some points late, make it a little closer, make it appear a little better than it actually is. But Roddy, you out of the Matrix. Can you tell us where you're at in this one?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm making sure I'm out of here, but I'm good. Now, and Sam, me and you know this very well. Young Nicholas Saban's ego is very large, and he knows that this is going to be a regular occurrence, or I guess a regular trip that they're going to make upcoming here in 2025. So I think he's going to want to pour it on and let them know that, like, yeah, y'all are trying to join the SEC, but this is the level
who Daddy
you got to
is.
come to. And look, Goose, I was really shocked that he didn't know that was a penalty for doing the horns down thing. So shout out to whoever that reporter was in his press conference on Thursday. But
it's only in Big 12.
It's not gonna matter though. It's
only a penalty if a Big 12 team does it, because that's like an actual rule that Big 12 officials like look for. Because I remember LSU was doing it in their face too, and they got no penalties called. So we're all horns down today.
Everybody. I didn't know it was only Big 12 teams though.
I haven't seen it called in a non-conference game, so I'm sure Alabama will put that to the test today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even though, like, hand signals, they can be doing sign language on the sidelines, man. It's not going to matter for Texas, man. It's really not.
No. All right, Goose, we can get you in here for one more, right? I mean, it's you're a Big Ten Goose. We got the Cyclone Bowl today, Iowa State, Iowa. You got any picks on that one before you bounce?
So I want to take the under. I didn't look into this game too much. I want to take the under. I mean, everyone saw Iowa's offense last week. 10 first downs, 10 punts, the conference of punts. They won by 2 safeties and a field goal. We all saw that. But little rivalry game, so I just there could be some trickery. Iowa knows they need to pull out all the tricks in the bag to score after last week. So low total of 39.5. I'd lean under. Wouldn't be surprised if we get it over because of some random 55-yard touchdowns after double reverse passes. That's where my head's at. I'm off it. I think Iowa State's favorite.
Oh no, that's my bad.
3.5.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
They're plus 3.5.
I think they're the side to back though. I want no money behind this Iowa team. I don't care how good their defense is.
I mean, in theory, for me, all you got to do is stay like within a field goal. Like I don't see how Iowa can score more than that. Like outscore you by more than that. Like they're just gonna kick field goals the entire game. JD, you got anything for this one?
I do. I have Iowa State as an official play. I bet against Iowa last week. I bet South Dakota State plus 14. Easy money. South Dakota State had a couple of jackrabbits with the last name Yankee on their team. Don't see that too often. And they looked like better skill talent than what Iowa's throwing out there. There's rumblings of a quarterback change, and they're both bad, so it doesn't matter. They have 2 scholarship wide receivers in this one, so they're not going to score in this one either. I bet on Iowa State last year in this matchup, and I felt robbed for my money. They doubled up their first downs, doubled up total yardage, and Brock Purdy just turned the ball over 4 times. So they somehow ended up losing. So I don't know. I like Iowa State because they're a team that performs when everyone counts them out. Last year they had high hopes and they disappointed. But again, a few of those games were a little fluky. I think they were better than their record indicates. And I just don't see how you could be confident playing Iowa as a favorite right now against anybody, even an FCS school. So give me Iowa State.
Like Iowa's offense was putrid last year, and it somehow feels like it just got worse. Like I don't know how you go year over year with. I mean, I know they lost some receivers and skill positions in the portal just because they can't produce anything on offense, but like you gotta have something better than a field goal and 2 safeties against a D2 school. I mean, Roddy, you got anything for this one?
No, I would rather watch the paint on the walls behind me dry than to watch this football game. This is what CBS wants to invest money into in the next coming years. Seriously, this is what they want.
Yeah.
This is what they want to give the
Conference
people
of
at
funds, bro.
3:30. Like Iowa running the ball 7 times and getting 1.4 yards per carry. Like, no, bro. The side has to be Iowa State. I mean, after seeing an offense just that putrid, especially in college, like you said, Goose, like shit happens. Sometimes you score off of lucky shit or something. That never happens to Iowa. They're the definition of vanilla ice cream. So yeah, give me Iowa State if you want to play it, but I would rather torment myself than watch this football game.
I mean, in my head, I'm with Goose. I kind of got to lean the under just because I don't see a world where Iowa puts up enough to even get this close to 40 points. But I'd lean Iowa State also. No official plays yet. Might change as we get closer to kickoff. But, yeah, as of right now, rocking with no official plays. Goose, if you got to get out of here, go hit your tea time. I understand. We appreciate you stopping in, waking up with us, Rex.
Yeah. I got
Rex did not do that.
I got one play for y'all before I dip. My favorite play today is going to be the under 50.5 in Notre Dame versus Marshall. I was very impressed with Notre Dame's defense against Ohio State. Those boys fly. And Marshall has a pretty good defense themselves, especially for a group of 5 school. Henry Colombi, he's the transfer quarterback. He was from Texas Tech last year. He could spin it, but Marshall's best running back took a leave of absence, Rasheen Ali. So I don't see how Marshall can put up that many points without their best running back on the team. Teams in transition, only 7 returning starters in general for the team. So I think Notre Dame, they continue to be a top 5 defense this whole season. They really impressed me slowing down Ohio State. I see them slowing down Marshall, and then their offense, they got to figure some things out. So they're a run-based team. One more stat. If you guys watched the Ohio State game, the Ohio State Notre Dame game, Michael Mayer, who's a great tight end, he had 5 catches in that game. The rest of the team had 5 catches, one catch per guy or whatever. 5 different guys had 1 catch on Notre Dame. So double team Meyer, and then Notre Dame shouldn't score more than 35. So I like the under in that game. But yeah, Goose is out. I'll catch y'all. Stay for these 3 gentlemen. They got great stuff coming for y'all.
Lock up, baby. Go hit him straight.
The general. The general.
All right, we'll move on or move back a little bit. We want to get a Big Ten Goose take for Iowa State, but game that should be a little closer. Top 20, first of the 3 top 25 matchups today. Tennessee going to Pitt. Pitt got them last year in Neyland. Tennessee looking for a little bit of revenge. Roddy, you got anything on this one, man?
You said a game that's going to be a little bit closer. I don't know, my boy. I don't know. I mean, as I watched Pitt in West Virginia this morning, and the thing that popped off the screen, one, is that Keaton Slovis is just like a less talented Jimmy Garoppolo, which is like bad, super bad. West Virginia's tackling in that game was god awful. I don't think Tennessee's going to be that bad defensively, even though I don't think Tennessee has this fantastic defense. I think they're going to be able to tackle. I really like Tennessee's offense, though. I'm gonna scrub my tongue out after I say this, but I really think that this game is going to be. It's not going to be a blowout, but I think Tennessee wins it convincingly. I just think they're the better team. I really believe in Heupel, so yeah, give me Tennessee, man. I'm rocking the 5.5, but I'll give my plays out later on. But I'm loving Tennessee.
I'm on Tennessee also. I mean, I personally, I like the way they, just from what I saw West Virginia able to do, they were able to, I mean, they moved the ball pretty consistently on Pitt's defense. I know that's supposed to be the strength of the team. I think, like, as the season goes along, they'll come into form a little bit more. But Tennessee, if they're able to get some first downs and just get rolling like they do, I mean, they had a play. I was a degenerate watching the Ball State Tennessee game on the opening Thursday. So they had a play clock or a timer between setting the ball and snap, and it was like 2.9 seconds every time. Like it is unbelievable how fast they can go. I don't know if Pitt has the conditioning for it just yet. I mean, they coming off a tough game. Like they had to pull out everything to get that win against West Virginia, and Tennessee kind of got the coast. Didn't have to go too hard in the game. JD, you got anything for this one?
It's a mush for us. I like Tennessee here. It's not an official play for me. I'm not very high on Pitt. I think they're a solid team. I bet against them last week with West Virginia. The offense has taken a huge step back without Kenny Pickett and whatnot. And it looked like they scored points last week, but they were very lucky to get over 30 points on the board, I thought, against the West Virginia team that lost its top 5 secondary players, was totally depleted. And yeah, Slovis had some good numbers, but Roddy's completely correct. It was due to missed tackles and whatnot. And I mean, Tennessee's not great defensively, but I don't see how Pitt's going to keep up with them. Like Tennessee's going to score. They're going to get theirs. The one thing I know about Pitt is they usually have a great defense along the defensive front. And West Virginia ran all over them, and West Virginia hasn't been able to run the ball in forever. And they had a true freshman converted tight end run for 120 yards on 7 carries. So if you don't think a Josh Heupel offense is going to find theirs in this, then I don't know what to tell you. So normally with this many points at home, I would lean Pitt, but I'm just not high on them at all. I definitely lean Tennessee here.
Yeah, and I have an overplay in this one as well. I don't trust Tennessee's defense enough yet, but I think Tennessee's offense is going to be able to get 30 to 45 points in this one. And I mean, maybe some backdoor points for Pitt to push this one over. But yeah, I think there will be some points scored in this one. I mean, what was it last year? I think it was 35, 31, something like that. So I think it'll be right around there, or maybe not as close, but the total is pretty accurate.
One last thing on that, Sam. The last year was really close, and that was when Tennessee was still with the Joe Milton experiment. Where if you don't know who Joe Milton is, this is a kid who couldn't complete 50% of his passes in high school. And for some reason, Heupel wanted to start him last year. Now they have Hendon Hooker back there, a fully operational Hendon Hooker. And how Pitt likes to play their defense, they're very stubborn. They put their guys one-on-one, their guys on the corner. So if you're going to put them one-on-one, when you're having trouble stopping the run, and you're going to put Cedric Tillman one-on-one, Brew McCoy, Jalen Hyatt, I think they're going to get toasted pretty good here.
And I feel like Tennessee, like just being able to watch that game a little more closely, I saw them, they just ran a lot of like stops, like hitches, comeback routes. Like I think they were trying to set up something for a deep shot, maybe to open the game. So I think they'll be able to, especially if Pitt's in that man-to-man coverage. I think Tennessee's receivers will be able to get some deep shots in. Anything else on this one?
Nah, man. No. That's it. Tennessee, man. That's the name of the game today.
All right, now we go back to the swamp. I think a lot of us kind of lost it on betting against Florida last week. I don't think it was the wrong play. I mean, Utah still had a chance to go get the win, just an awful pass at the goal line to try and even things up. Anthony Richardson looked really good. Florida just looks like a really well-coached team, but they're going up against a Kentucky team that is about as well coached as they can be. Like what they're going to do. Like they're going to run the ball. Will Levis, I think, adds a little bit more to their passing game this year. This will be a big spot for him, I think, to prove that he can be a first-round pick, even though he does put mayo in his coffee.
Huh?
What? You don't know that?
No. What?
Will Levis puts mayo in his coffee, bro. How did you not see this?
Mayonnaise,
Okay.
big globs.
My bad. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
Globs and globs.
Yeah, it's
Globs.
bad. You got to look it up. But yeah, JD, you got anything for this one? I know you were on Utah as well last week.
Yeah, I'm staying as far away from this one as possible. I don't really like either team this year. I think both are taking a step back. Yeah, Florida won the game, but I mean, like Utah had 300 yards of offense on 4 drives in the second half. They just threw a bad pick, but I don't like Kentucky, and it's in the swamp, so I'm staying as far away from this one as possible. Fun game to watch. No betting.
Yeah. This will be the game of the day, I think, easily. Just because the teams are a little bit similar. Obviously, the quarterback situation is a little bit different. Anthony's way more mobile. But I wasn't really impressed with Kentucky against Miami, man. I just wasn't really. I mean, I have a play for Tavion Robinson that I'll give out later, he was eating. So I think he'll be a big feature in the offense today for them. But if anything, I would lean the over. I don't believe in either defense for anything. Like I wouldn't say that Kentucky is bad defensively, but I did expect a little bit more from them in that game last week. So with the threat of Anthony Richardson being able to like run and actually like get, substantial big plays, I think I would lean Florida if I had to play it, but I'm similar to JD, man. I wouldn't touch this one unless it's playing the over, because I think the over is probably going to hit too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's just it feels like such a letdown or like a come down spot for Florida. I mean, that game was as high as you could get, like new coaching staff, like pretty much a really new team. Like they got their first big win, a signature win in the opening weekend, like on Labor Day weekend. I feel like that just like gave you a reason to party for 3 straight days if you're a Florida fan. So could go back to sucking to be a Florida Gator today. I do have Kentucky plus 5.5, but I don't know. Kentucky has played Florida really well here recently. Even with it'll be interesting to see how Billy Napier does against this Mark Stoops team. But I do think it'll be a close one. So I'm leaning Kentucky at home or on the road.
Yeah, and to go with what Sosa just said, I forgot who Kentucky's OC is, but I know he came from the Niners. So
Scangarello, I think. Scangarello.
In that Shanahan tree. What do you say, JD?
I think his name is like Rick Scangarello from the Shanahan.
Yeah, Scangarello. And I liked a lot of their concepts. They're really play action heavy, which I didn't expect them to be, because Kentucky's run game is not like fantastic. But I think there's a lot of misdirection that could get Florida's defense off keel. So yeah, I'm not mad at you for taking the 5.5. I've been thinking about this game since Thursday, bro, and I've had no like solid footing in either side because, like you said, this could be the huge letdown spot. So,
well, I think if you like going back to the Georgia game last year, I think a lot of things that could, like a lot of things that they did in that one, like it was annoying that they never got off the field against Georgia last year.
Yeah,
like they stayed on the field. They did a little like dink and dunks, get first downs, keep it out of Stetson's hand. Now I think they're going to try to do the same with Anthony Richardson. But but they don't have to run the ball to do that. I think the misdirection, the crossing routes, I think that'll be a huge key. And if Will Levis can hit those big throws on third down, just keep the offense on the field and keep Anthony Richardson off of it, I think they're going to be able to do that. And I mean, I like Kentucky. I also just don't like Florida, so I think that's skewing my pick a little bit. But I mean, I think Kentucky can cover this one and keep it close. So we'll move on. Late night game, top 25 matchup, one of the better games of the day, if not the best. Baylor plus 2.5 going to BYU. JD, you're a West Coast guy. What are you seeing in BYU?
I think this is the game of the week. You guys probably think I'm crazy, but I'm the most excited. These are just two really good programs. I respect these coaches a lot. They kind of are similar in that they both fly under the radar a little bit, and they're both religious schools, and they both like to establish the line of scrimmage. I like both their quarterbacks. So I wrote this one up for covers.com. Go ahead and check out the full one. I played Baylor at plus 3.5. The hook is now gone. It's down to 2.5. I'm not quite as confident there. I do like the hook in what should be a back and forth game with a low over under 52.5. But what it boils down to me is this. Baylor's still going to be really good along the defensive front. So they whipped BYU's ass last year, a quality BYU team. Baylor whipped their ass. BYU really wants to run the ball. They dominate most teams on line of scrimmage. They're not going to dominate Baylor up there. So you would think they would attack Baylor's secondary, which is where Baylor loses everything to the NFL from a year ago. But BYU's top two receivers aren't playing in this one, and they're really good wide receivers. Puka Nacua is going to be in the NFL. He's out with a foot injury. Gunnar Romney's been there for 100 years, and he is also out with injury. And I just think the matchup sets up well for Baylor. They have one of the most experienced offensive lines in the country. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. BYU returns everybody defensively, but they weren't good defensively a year ago. Baylor ran all over them. So I think catching points, it's going to be a very close game. But with all these factors, the matchups line up for me. The injuries make me like this one more. I'm on Baylor. It's not a super confident read. I think I like the over because I think Baylor's going to move the ball. This Blake Shapen kid at quarterback, I really like this kid. I think once people get more eyes on him, I think they're fine there. I think they upgraded from Jerry Bohannon a year ago. So I think they're going to score on BYU. And I know BYU is injured, but that team always finds a way to score points no matter who they're playing. So I like over in over in Baylor.
Yeah, Roddy, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Baylor money line being official, man. I'm kind of like you guys. I don't know. I think we said this 2 weeks ago, but I expect them to win their conference this year. I think this is one of those games where if you're going to make a statement, in order to be there in December, then you have to win these games on the road. It's definitely, this game's going to be, like you said, JD, blessed in the name of Jesus. A lot of Jesus going on in this game, but I would lean Baylor money line, man. I really think they can do it. I don't think, even though BYU, like you said, wants to run the ball, I think, in college football, you got to be able to pass it, like just a little bit, especially against these Big 12 teams. Like they're gonna want to, get out and score some points. So I'm not, saying that BYU can't score, but I think Baylor holds the upper hand in that. So give me Baylor. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. I'm all over Baylor. We all said it a couple of weeks ago. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. That they replaced their starter with Blake Shapen, and that's not like Jerry Bohannon transferred out. Blake Shapen beat him out in spring camp. Like not many coaches would take the quarterback that led you to a Big 12 championship and just move on from them before the season started, let alone in spring. I like what Dave Aranda's done. The defensive line is really good, led by Apu Ika, former LSU guy. But yeah, and their offensive line is really good. I think they returned either 4 or 5 starters from last year. I think they're just a really solid team, and that's not taking anything away from BYU. I just think Baylor is that good this year. And what I think most people probably expected to be a drop off if you were just if you didn't look into them before the season. So I do like Baylor. I have plus 2.5 or plus 3.5. I got that before the hook was gone as well. I'd lean Baylor money line. Yeah, I think it'll be a really close game, but I think Baylor, just the both lines of scrimmage are too solid, And I think if you have an advantage at both lines of scrimmage, usually it wins you a lot of games. So that's where my head's at for this one. I think we're all in agreement there. JD, you got any prize picks or DFS plays you want to get to before we get into best bets? I know you did the stream the other night. We'll end with plenty of time for you to check that out over at the Daily Bread Media YouTube page. If you want to do that. But if you have any quick hitters you want to get to, I saw we had some like stat questions and stuff in the comments. So if you want to touch on any of that, go ahead.
Yeah, someone asked the best game to stack in the comments. So I would go Houston and Texas Tech. I think that total is at like 64.5, and I still think it's too low. You have Zach Kitley, one of my favorite offensive coordinators, coming in for Texas Tech. So they're going to line up the scoreboard, and they haven't had a defense there in years. So I would stack that one. Other than that, lineup-wise, I think you just got to look at the wide receivers. You can fit like Cedric Tillman, A.T. Perry, Tank Dell. You can fit like guys that would be going in top 2 rounds if you're playing a season long. You could fit all those guys in your lineup and just play the quarterbacks in the 6K range. You could play Tyler Buckner for Notre Dame. You could play Brennan Armstrong, 6.3, Clayton Tune, 6.5. So I would start with those quarterbacks in the 6K range, fit in as many stud wide receivers as you can get, and then you should be on your way to a very high-scoring lineup fairly easily this week.
Gotcha. All right, we'll go ahead and get into best bets then. If you have any questions on any games we didn't preview, go ahead and drop them in the comments section. We'll try and touch on as many as we can. I know we're not running as long as we usually do. Just try to keep it short and sweet because we knew Rex was going to be struggling, but clearly didn't even make it to the stream this morning. So, Roddy, let's go ahead and get into yours, man. What plays you rocking today?
Let's see. Am I in the Matrix? Am I good? Because you were going slow there. Or am I? Okay, cool. All right. So if you're scared, go to church. Okay. I know it's 6 right now, but I got Tennessee minus 6.5 at even money. I think they're going to beat their ass today, personally. I also have their team total over 34. That's going to be minus 110. Get that too. It's going to be a lot of offense. So yeah, Tennessee all the way. For the Florida and Kentucky game, I have Tavion Robinson of Kentucky over 67.5 yards. I was talking about him a little bit earlier. He was great. He was probably one of the most impressive parts of their win against Miami of Ohio, but it's Miami of Ohio. So I expect him to be a feature, and I expect them to get yards. So give me him over 67.5. And then Bama team total over 42. That is minus 115. I'm with Sam. There's death, there's taxes, and then there's the first half for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I got that minus 14.5 as well.
Here we go. Getting some UNC Georgia State questions. No, JD, you want to lead us off with your – we can go back and forth like you mentioned. I know you got a Georgia State play, I believe, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of plays, so we're gonna go back and forth here. So if you guys want any games covered, we're ending a little early here, so shout them out in the chat. I do have a play on Georgia State. I like them plus 7.5. I don't know. There we go, baby. Georgia State. I'm high on this team. They return like everyone. They run the ball well. They beat Auburn last year, but the SEC officials didn't want that or whatever happened there, so they said Bo Nix threw it forward.
You cheated us, bro. Oh my God! And against Auburn, Jesus. Oh.
Hey, in my personal record book, it was a win. So that's all that matters. I like them. I mean, North Carolina looks awful. They can't play defense. Josh Downs is out again. Yeah, I like Georgia State for sure. They played South Carolina last week, and they had 2 punts blocked, Beamer ball. So it made the final score look worse. But I was kind of kicking myself for not being on them last week and then the final score. They didn't end up covering, but I thought they looked good. I think they'll look good again here. So, yeah, I like that play.
Yep. I can go ahead and get into one that I have, Mizzou, Kansas State. I mean, Deuce Vaughn is one of the best running backs in the country. I do not like anything Missouri is doing football related, really athletically at all. But they have, what's his name, Luther Burton. They have him. He's good. That's good for them. But I don't think – I think Kansas State is just a really solid football team. They got at home. I got a minus 7.5 play as well on my ticket. I like K-State in this one pretty big. So anybody got anything on USC Stanford? JD, West Coast guy, you got anything for that one?
I played the USC team total over. I think it was 37.5. I'm still like not a total believer in USC, but I am in the offense. Defensively, like playing at Stanford, weird stuff happens at Stanford. It's like what people say about Jordan Hare. That's like what happens at Stanford on the West Coast. Like I've seen Notre Dame lose there before when they were, like 20-point favorites. So I don't trust USC's defense, but I do think they'll be able to score. And I think Stanford's going to be able to score as well. They were really injured last year. Tanner McKee's a good quarterback. EJ Smith's pretty solid at running back, and they got like 4 wide receivers I like and a very good tight end in Eurosic. So I think they're going to make USC keep coming back out. And so I think it was 37.5. I got that team total.
Okay. I do have an official play for A&M App State. I'm on the over 53.5. I mean, just what I saw App State give up last week. I don't think App State will be able to get much, but maybe some backdoor points against backups. I know it's a little bit of a look-ahead spot with A&M having Miami come to town next week. Might just be a quick one, but even if they just run or running the ball most of the time, I don't know if they have the quarterback completely figured out yet. I still think they are able to put up 40 points, and then you only need like 10 or so from App State. I think A&M could actually get this one by themselves, just with what I saw on the defensive side last week. That's an official play for me, over 53.5 at A&M App State. I'd have to, if I had to pick a side, I'd probably lean A&M as long as it's under 21. But I think it's a different animal that they're facing up front. I don't think App State is going to be able to nearly move the ball as well as they did, but I don't think they'll be shut out or anything. I still think A&M has some questions up front. Just rotating in so many new pieces and so many new faces. They'll use this to get it figured out and probably play a little better, but next week's the real test for them.
Yeah, and I was not impressed with Texas A&M last week either, man. Jimbo better back up that shit he been talking.
Haynes King ain't it?
Head.
I don't think Haynes King is the answer. I don't know what they do quarterback wise, but anybody got anything for South Carolina, Arkansas? JD, you got an official play? Go Hogs, baby.
Hogs
Go
up,
Hogs.
yeah.
I played the over 54.5. It looks like it's creeping up. There's some injuries in this one. Arkansas, Jalen Catalon, arguably their best player, star safety. He went out last week. He's doubtful for this one. They have some other injuries in the secondary. I believe the D lineman is also banged up. And I already thought they might take a small step back defensively. So say what you will about Rattler and whatnot, but that team has weapons. I think they're going to score. And South Carolina is bad defensively up front. Like they were really bad there a year ago. And you're playing Arkansas. That's not good. I think Rocket Sanders is going to have a huge day. And Arkansas is going to score as well. So I took the over 54.5.
Yeah, I wanted to see a little bit more out of Arkansas last week. Cincinnati's just, I guess, they didn't fall off as much as I guess we thought. I just don't think KJ Jefferson played all that well. I'd like to see him play a little bit better if they want to prove they're the third best team in the SEC. Like I think they're capable of being this year. But yeah, KJ is going to have to play a little bit better, but I could see a lot of points in this one as well. Don't have any official plays for that one. I don't have any official plays for Miami Southern Miss. I think it could be a look-ahead spot there as well for Miami, just like I mentioned with Texas A&M. That game's going to be a big one next week at College Station, but I don't think we have any official plays there.
I just want to say I like Southern Miss. That's not a team I want to bet against. Like they looked really good a week ago against Liberty. I know they lost, but there was some special team stuff and turnovers. Only thing about that, their quarterback got injured last week, undisclosed injury. Not sure if he's going to play. So I would check that because they're going to run the Wildcat with Frank Gore Jr. If he's injured and running the Wildcat against Miami, I'm not really confident in covering any sort of point spread, regardless of how good I think you are. So make sure Ty Keys is playing if you're thinking about that one.
Okay. I think most of the other official plays that I have been covered throughout the day. JD, we can kind of go back and forth. I mentioned Bama first half minus 11.5. Got that at even money earlier this week. Bama minus 20.5 full game. Those are both official plays for me. Tennessee and the over as well. Mentioned those. Got any more for us, JD?
Yeah, let me rattle these off. I played Ohio State minus 44.5 against Arkansas State. Big spread, but Arkansas State is brutal. Program's headed in a bad direction. Ohio State looked fantastic defensively, which was a reason they couldn't cover some big point spreads last year, and the offense is going to get back on track here. I don't care if Jackson Smith and Jigba's playing. They have 5 stars that are going to show out in this one, and they're going to let those 5 stars keep scoring touchdowns in the second half, all the backups. I also played Maryland minus 26.5. Big spread. They're playing Charlotte. Charlotte's god-awful. They're on their 3rd-string quarterback already, and they can't play a lick of defense. So I think Maryland's going to run the score, probably score 45+. I think that should be a cover. Some more favorites. Syracuse, minus 23.5. I have some big favorites I'm on. They're playing UConn. UConn looked good against Utah State, but now their quarterback's out for the year. Now their best wide receiver's out for the year. So that means their 2 best wide receivers are out for the year. And I just think they kind of played above their heads against Utah State. And Syracuse looked amazing. They absolutely crushed Louisville in week 1. So I'm playing Syracuse. Also playing Colorado State minus 11.5 against Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee got destroyed by James Madison, especially through the air. Todd Centeio lit him up. Todd Centeio, ironically, used to play at Colorado State. Wasn't a very good quarterback. Colorado State now has a very good passing attack. Jay Norvell. They're going to look to show out these weapons. They got beat down by Michigan a week ago. They're going to bounce back in a big way. They're going to absolutely light up Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee was so bad on the offensive line a week ago. They allowed 13 tackles for loss. So I don't trust what they're doing offensively to backdoor this one. Last favorite, I have Utah State minus 6.5. They're playing an FCS school again. I think there's just overreaction to the UConn game. I think they'll be fine. Those weapons will start to gel the longer they have together. Some underdogs. I already called out a few. Houston plus 4 against Texas Tech. I think they should win that one straight up. Not a huge believer in Texas Tech. I like their offensive system, but that's it. Boston College plus 3 against Virginia Tech. I'm not a big believer in Virginia Tech. They looked bad against Old Dominion. I think there's an overreaction for Boston College against Rutgers. They didn't look great, but Virginia Tech didn't either. So give me the points with the underdog. And then last but not least, a lot of plays here. I like the board this week. I really like it. So I'm biting them on them all.
Love it. Keep going. Keep going.
Keep them going.
I can find some more, I guess. Let me just pull up the board. It's every game. I got you guys.
Keep going. Keep going.
San Jose State, Auburn. Yeah, Sean Tucker's going to go absolutely crazy. You're 100% correct. San Jose State against Auburn. I took the under 49. San Jose State's offense was so bad against Portland State. I had them in DFS, so I was staying up late till it was 11 o'clock. I don't know if that's late for you guys, but for me it is. And I'm watching this game because I have DFS money on it, and it was putrid. That offense sucks. The offensive line's terrible, and they're playing an SEC school, so I'm taking the under in that one. I think that's all I have. I think I ran out.
I think this is the first time someone's had more plays than me on the show.
Yeah.
I do have one more. I'm going to go Oklahoma State, Arizona State over. I don't like what I saw out of Arizona State's defense or Oklahoma State's defense. I think the loss of Jim Knowles really hurts. They lost a lot, just about everybody off that really strong defense from last year. I think Arizona State's going to be able to score some points, and I think Oklahoma State's going to get back to a little bit more traditional Gundy where they're trying to score as much as possible and not relying as much on the defense. So no overs for JD.
I played the Arkansas over. Arkansas,
Yeah.
South Carolina.
There you
54.5.
go. Roddy, you got anything else for us, man?
I mean, if you were a believer in me and you love me, go ahead, take that minus 52, man. Go ahead. Just put a little something on it, man. It's Sanford, man. It's Sanford. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing else for me. Gonna be excited for next week. Like you said, Miami and A&M. I'm gonna be watching both of those teams this week because, like I said, I'm ready. Dabo got his contract extension, so I can't pray on his downfall anymore. So, Jimbo, you're up, buddy.
You're up next. I mean, Brian Kelly might be up next. Apparently, everyone thinks he's going to be fucking fired. So, I'm still suffering from whiplash last week. That game was maybe the highest and lowest snap I've ever had as a fan. Just marching down the muff punt low, the fumble recovery high, marching 99 yards for tying touchdown, highest of high, and the fucking block PAT. That one was brutal, but let's have a good week, everybody. If you're in Vegas, please look for Rex. We haven't found him yet, so just keep an eye out for him. He may be maybe on the roof of a hotel. We never know. But everybody have a great day. Go check out Players Ball Podcast for Roddy. Go check out the DFS segment on Daily Bread Media YouTube page. And be sure to tune in to Sunday Morning Quarterbacks, first week of the year. NFL starts tomorrow. Daily Bread Media will have you covered. So be sure to tune in later tonight for Spaces and tomorrow morning for Sunday Morning Quarterbacks. So we'll see you all next week. Deuces.
Peace.
Later. Good luck.